The way I look at it is, once you conquer that mountain, okay, now it's time to look at the next mountain. Something a little higher, something a little steeper, something a little scarier. But it's good. You need that. You know, you've already shown to yourself, you proved to yourself that you could do it, that you could push through being uncomfortable. Okay? And it's the next level. So that mountain you just climbed, that's not so scary anymore. Now we got to go on and get a little bit more uncomfortable.
Welcome to the Spartan DEKA Series on Spartan Up with Jarod Cogswell, Director of Sport, and Yancy Culp, Director of Programming.
What's up, Spartans? Welcome to the DEKA Series on the Spartan Up Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jarod Cogswell, along with my brother, Yancy Culp. And guys, today, we don't even have a guest. All you're going to have to listen to today is the YCJC, and we are going to talk about DEKA FIT Dallas. And we're going to talk about celebrating fitness and how to celebrate fitness.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Eurofins Scientific, the official testing partner of Spartan. Eurofins Empower DX at-home COVID testing collection kit is the fastest, cheapest, and most sensitive test on the market today. Go to empowerdxlab.com/Spartan and use the code Spartan for 15% savings or free with most insurance. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Orgain, clean nutrition to help you stay healthy, active, and feeling your best. New subscribers save 30% at orgain.com/pages/Spartan.
So I'm going to lead this right in with my man, Yancy Culp.
Listen, between the YCJC, there's a big lightning bolt. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly going to nail down how to celebrate fitness today. I'm wearing my Spartan DEKA staff shirt today. JC and I don't like to admit it too often, but we've got 55 years of combined experience loving on the fitness industry, coaching classes, personal training, large group, and everything in between. We love fitness, but let me tell you, Saturday was the most amazing moment for me that I've ever experienced in my 25 plus years. And that's why I'm wearing my staff shirt, because as a part of DEKA staff, and I know I speak for JC, you're going to want to stay tuned for this, because this was an amazing moment in time where we truly celebrated fitness. Listen, folks, I'm going to push the filter to the side for a bit. We had hundreds of people that were unfit and overweight and had never towed a start line in their life before, or maybe it's been a long time. And however they got the message that we know well, that DEKA is for all levels of fitness. They showed up. They walked up to in many cases, their very first start line. And freaking, this is the big one, JC. Every single person found the finish line. It gives me chills. You and I have always said from the beginning when we created this from dust that everybody deserves training and testing with purpose. Everybody deserves that start line. And we're providing a start line for all levels as we speak this coming week. And when you guys hear this, this will have already happened. We have 4 events in our gym affiliates this weekend that are sold out, 60 to 90 people showing up. We've had 100 plus events in the gym. But listen, folks, this was the very first one, our big decathlon of fitness, the one we call the Super Bowl. And it was electric. We're not going to spend all the time talking about DEKA. We're going to really nail down to celebrating fitness as a whole across the planet. But last weekend was freaking amazing, brother.
Yeah, man, it really was. And, you know, we did celebrate fitness, and every level was there. And you know what I'm really proud of is how it didn't matter who it was. It wasn't just us. It was our production team. Our production team was just amazing to work with. Everybody from Spartan that supported us, the photographers, the videographers, but everybody connected together. When I felt like I was in one big kick-ass gym, right? And everybody was a part of this culture. Everybody was fist bumping, high-fiving. And everybody was getting after it. The elites, of course, that just seemed like an explosion when we started with all of the men's elite. Then the women's elite was like a slugfest down to the very end. But then also, like you mentioned, we had people walking the course, jogging the course, and there was smiles, man. That's what it was all about. It was about celebrating fitness, and I'm really proud of the environment and everybody coming together. We have been on a mission to impact 100 million lives through fitness. And, finally, after almost a year and a half, we were able to launch that opportunity at DEKA FIT.
Here's the deal. Research shows that a vast majority of the people walking the planet, they made it through middle school, they made it through high school, and wherever they are in their current life, they never played the sports, the typical sports. They don't do the Murph. They don't do the marathons. They don't do the Spartan races. They don't do the CrossFit Opens. They don't do the triathlons. And they sit on the couch and they watch people compete. When you and I got on that course and we walked around those 500-meter laps, and then we walked into the zones of those people, we hear them say it all the time. It's like, this is my sport. DEKA's my sport. And I can compete in this. And we love to say, if you can walk and breathe, there's a damn good chance you're going to find that finish line at a DEKA. And if you don't quite get it the first time, you'll eventually get there. So I love to say, this is kind of I never said this before Saturday. Our elites are those open category people. Those are our true elites that have found their calling and have found their start line, brother.
Well, hey, real quick though, let's talk about the elites. Let's talk about Derek York and the rest of the unbelievable competitors. And Yancy, you obviously you have a reputation for working with high-end athletes as well as general fitness populations. But we got to highlight a little bit on the elites.
So Derek York, our male winner, 5 or 6 time NCAA All-American distance runner, very high-level CrossFitter. You take the endurance athlete, you combine the CrossFit, as a Spartan Pro team member, been doing functional fitness and running at a high level his entire, from high school on. I actually had the wonderful opportunity to coach Derek. You mash that together and you saw what we call a DEKA cyborg. Hot on his heels was 2-time Spartan world champion Robert Killian, Army Green Beret, Army Ranger, also a Spartan Pro team member. And Spartan Pro team member, the 3rd place finisher, Forrest Booge, came in about this far behind Robert Killian. I'd say the top 10 men were all DEKA cyborgs. We had Lauren Stroud. Lauren is a unique individual. She is the 2020 U.S. Trials Marathon qualifier. She is the half marathon stroller pushing world record holder. Renee Metvier Lauren won. Renee was second. Renee has qualified, folks, listen to this, qualified for the Olympic trials 2004, 8, 12, 16, and 2020 in 3 different events, the 1,500, the 5,000, and the marathon. And 3rd place, Samantha Wood, 2018, led woman, also a Spartan Pro team member and Spartan Games competitor. Jarod, the elite field was knocked down, drag out, going crazy at it from start to finish. It was electric. The men, we had the top 7 men were in DEKA Zone 9, 20 Spartan Ram burpees all together. It was that freaking close.
Yeah, it was so fun to watch. But again, the majority of the people there were not the elites. We had beginners there. We had novice fitness enthusiasts. We had all these different tribes of gyms. What did we count out? We counted over 90 gyms represented in Dallas alone. And it's going to be interesting to see what the numbers are for the next event in Atlanta. But, I point that out because as fitness professionals for, gosh, I hate when you say it, 55 years, man. It's embarrassing, but at the same time, it's something I'm very proud of. We worked with so many people struggling with body image issues, even depression, not knowing where to start, nobody to hold them accountable, nobody that not sure of like how to even get to where they want to get physically, mentally, and emotionally. And you and I, when we created DEKA from dust, we've been talking about winning the caring game. Winning the caring game. And that was a maniacal focus for us on Saturday. And to see everybody smiling, no matter how hard it was for them, because some people, it was hard. Even the people walking the course, they were giving it everything they had. They were climbing their mountain and they were celebrating fitness. So what I wanted to do today was just, from a fitness professional's perspective and seeing what we saw this past Saturday, is I wanted to share some steps to celebrating fitness. And I wanted to, just have a conversation with you about this, because I think it would be good for the listeners, especially those that are out there struggling. And for those that don't struggle with exercise or training or fitness, maybe there's some reminders and there's some ways that they can help light up the planet around them as well. So number one, I was going to say the first step to celebrating fitness is commit to being the best you. Don't compare yourself to other people. Think about where you want to be. What does that look like in your life? How do you feel? How do you feel physically? How do you feel mentally? How do you feel emotionally? We talk about this. Our good friend Todd Durkin says this all the time: 1% better every day. That's all we're after here. And it is a journey, but you need to commit to, being the best version of you.
Yep, 100%, brother. And one thing that's happening is we are helping provide the group that you're talking about a platform to stand on. And when you hit that finish line, there's nothing wrong with being proud of that you accomplished something today. And as you and I say all the time, we want you. We're graciously pushing you when we're trying to win the caring game towards, listen, this is our mode of transportation, our beautiful machine. It's what gets us to work every day. It's what allows us to provide for our kiddos and our families. It's what allows us to say yes to those vacations when we're parents and then eventually grandparents, and to continue taking care of the body so it takes care of you and provides for you so we can enjoy this beautiful rock of ours that we call planet Earth. So it's that gracious push to that finish line, and it's so amazing when we see them get there and they're proud of what they accomplished.
Yeah, and on top of that, Yancy, I think it's important, a lot of our gym affiliates, for example, they're using DEKA Strong as that measurement system to establish a baseline for where people are physically. And, I think that's important. You need to be honest with yourself. Like, here's where I am and here's where I want to be. And that's part of the journey. That's where you can measure and almost gamify fitness for yourself and have fun with it. It's not just about getting on the scale, but it's where am I physically right now and where do I want to be? So number one was commit to being the best you. And number two, I think this is very, very crucial, especially, as a supporter of the fitness industry, but surround yourself with people on the same mission. Okay, we saw a lot of that on Saturday, a lot of tribes of people that they were wearing their gym shirts proudly. They were in it together. It didn't matter who was fast, who was slow. They were all climbing that mountain together. I think the other thing, when you're surrounding yourself with others, you also consider if you struggle with being disciplined and accountable and you're constantly, starting over, consider hiring a coach. We need coaches. I need a coach. You need a coach. But what it does is it holds us accountable. It helps us break bad habits. We all have them. And most importantly, it helps us develop discipline to execute positive behaviors. So, would you agree? I surround myself with you because you motivate and inspire me to be my best, and that's just the way it works. It works that way in fitness and it works that way in life.
I know both of us have coached group fitness for many, many years and been we've been in that environment many times. And I always told every client, you may not have the certification, but every one of you have a coach in you. Every one of you have an opportunity to be a coach. And that can simply mean that, hey, Susie holds me accountable. I hold Susie accountable. It's like, I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm showing up. I signed up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be at that class. You're in coach mode there. You are everybody watching this podcast, you may not be a fitness coach, but you are a coach, and you are doing a wonderful service to helping all of us improve the fitness culture when you're helping hold those beautiful friends of yours accountable and like, listen, we got to show up.
Yeah. And to that, you don't have to be alone on this journey. You get to you get to be inspired and motivated by the people around you. It's a natural occurrence as soon as you get somebody that, it's so great to have a friend that pushes you, that nudges you, and they don't even have to say anything. It's just because they're there with you as part of the process. So number 2 was surround yourself with those on the same mission. Number 3, this might be a bit cliche, but trust the process. Trust the process. It's not something that happens overnight. You have to embrace the journey. And, I always kind of use the analogy of mountain climbing a lot, obviously, but every now and then you got to check the view out. Okay. You got to stop and see how far you've come. And a lot of people get intimidated by that mountain. They'll look at the whole thing and they'll go, I can't climb that mountain, but it's not true. All you have to do is take the next 100 feet, take it in chunks. It is a process. You get past that one chunk, you get to another chunk, and eventually you're on top of that mountain. So recognize your progress, even the smallest of wins. And what happens, we're so hard on ourselves. We're always, especially when you look at the scale, you may be improving your lean body mass, so you're not losing the weight so that you thought you were going to lose. And it could be really discouraging. So we get hard on ourselves. But when you look at the progress that you've made physically, mentally, emotionally, confidence is going to increase. And that's really, really crucial when you're on this journey of fitness, to celebrate fitness.
Yeah, a beautiful example of that last Saturday, and we see it in our gym events also at DEKA in the affiliate program, but at DEKA FIT Dallas, the very first event, the beautiful coming together of volunteer and judge with the athletes. Perfect example, our elites ran, and then they jumped out there and followed the competitive and the open category athletes around, and we saw, Jarod, it was amazing. I don't think I've ever seen people be so excited to volunteer and being able to dive into those zones and celebrate with the other people that were hitting the course. The range of athletes was 31 minutes completion in an hour and 42. That was our window. And to see we had volunteers out there that followed athletes around for an hour and 42 minutes, and they just, it was life-changing to them. So I think that one fits in. Some of the things we saw with the volunteers fits in really well with that one.
Yeah, I mean, you're making. I'm having flashbacks of Saturday, and I'm thinking about just certain individuals and the noise and people making the noise and getting fired up for one another. Man, it was like one crazy celebration. So number 4. I think this is a big one. And, one of our favorite people, in the training world is Chris Hinshaw, right? Yeah. And he talks about purposeful training, and we talk about training with a purpose. That means show up to your gym, or show up if you're going for a run or whatever you're doing, do it with intention. There's got to be a rhyme and a reason for doing what you're doing. Otherwise, it won't sustain itself. And I always tell people this, especially clients, don't exercise. I mean, exercise sucks. Exercise is boring. It sounds like a lot of work. It sounds painful. But train. Focus on training. Train like an athlete. Bill Bowerman, the Nike legend, okay, he said, if you have a body, you are an athlete. And I think everybody has their opportunity to either rediscover that athlete within them or find that athlete within them. And that applies, again, not just to fitness, but to life. I mean, maybe you want to be the greatest dad, the greatest mom, be the best that you can be, but do it with intention. And when you show up at your gym or your studio or your club, Go there with a purpose. Go with, maybe it's getting your DEKA mark. Maybe you want to improve upon that DEKA mark, but show up purposely with intention.
I think it's extremely important, and as we briefly mentioned starting out, there's so many things, participatory sports and formal sports for people to do, but we wanted to create the training and purpose for every level out there. And when you and I were what we call murdering the plan and building the zones out and trying to create this full body functional fitness test and building those zones out, and then with some of the tests we precede them with running. We wanted to create something when you're training for it and when you're actually on race day, it's very well rounded. And the balance there was to make that for every single level. And then from the elites, the fastest elites to the slowest person on course, for them to be able to say, and this is what Henshaw said, I know you'll never forget it either. He said, I think you guys nailed it because it is very well rounded. And on the same arena, on the same day, utilizing the exact same standards, every single level gets to train and test with purpose. Whether the gym events on training day, the gym event on race day, or the big Super Bowl of fitness. So I love hearing when we hear that feedback, like, hey, this is my sport. I love training for this. I enjoy the race. Man, it's just, it means a lot. As you and I say, man, as a fitness coach, you can't fake it in fitness. And you got to love it. And I've never loved it more in our 55 years. I'm going to say it again. I've never loved it more. And I know I'm speaking for you when I say that, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you this without, I cried like a baby on the last podcast for various reasons, but you won the carrying game the other day, brother, at that event. I watched you. You were in your space, man. Yeah, I saw you walking with competitors around the DEKA arena. And it was so great seeing like our new friends in fitness, right? And seeing them perform. We'd see them at a gym event, and then we saw them in the big DEKA FIT arena. And I want to compliment you on that, man, because you walked your talk, brother. You always have, and it's been such an awesome journey. I mean, it's definitely been tough, but I loved watching you the other day. You were the champion in the carrying game the other day.
I appreciate it, man. I knew I was going to tear up once or twice on this one. It's funny though. I was about 100 meters off, and I heard a chant going, and I look around. I'm like, JC's at the start line working a chant. So I took off in like a 5-minute mile pace, and I ran up right at the end, and I like kind of dove into it. So that's you're the king of chants, brother. And I tell you, man, walking those laps was some of the greatest memories. And I did a couple laps of people. They're like on zones 3 and 4. It's like, man, and there was some doubt. And then I went back out with one, and she was on like 8 or 9. And all of a sudden her spirits were lifted, and she realized the volunteers were firing them up. You were firing them up. Even our production staff was firing them up. And she was starting to realize that she was going to find her very first finish line. And there's nothing better, man. We're onto something that's growing, and everybody is welcome on this train, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, number 5. And Joe DeSena, our founder and CEO, he talks about this a lot. And I wasn't even planning on saying this. He talks about the Spartan paradox. You got to put something on the calendar. You got to have a target, right? That's the incentive. That's the motivation. And, so when you get ready for this commitment to fitness, it starts with what's your vision? Who do you want to be? All the way to game day, right? This is your chance to retest after you've established where you were, say 30 days ago, 45 days ago. This is your day to shine, okay? We built confidence. We've made progress. You're prepared. You're confident. We talk about this all the time. It's our goals. Our goal and mission as coaches is to create belief, and a lot of people don't believe in themselves. But You show up on game day believing in yourself. You're ready for this, and it's time to celebrate this new powerful you that you didn't even know was within you, or maybe it's rediscovered. But you have to remember, that's the day. That's the day when you are prepared to go, because you've taken all the steps that we talked about, previously in this podcast. But that's your moment to shine. So get to that moment to shine, build that confidence. And you know what? It could be a weekly goal, a daily goal, whatever it is, count your wins. But when you show up on game day, it's go time.
100%. And tying into that paradox, something I've used for a long time. And I like to say that, let's give credit where credit is due. Anytime, and I know I speak for JC here, anytime we throw out a nugget for the listeners, the viewers to grab onto, it's because somebody has taken the time to serve us, a mentor, an accountability partner. Here's something I do, and this is strategy for everybody. When I'm getting ready to do something that makes me nervous and makes me a little uncomfortable, I purposely, on that same day, as I tell people that I'm doing it. I just signed up for something, for example. I'm going to do this 2 or 3 months from now. It's healthy, awesome pressure, and we need that. I want 6 or 7 other people to know about what I'm going to do in my circle, because that prevents me from little excuses will creep in, doubt will creep in. I got something else I need to do. We need people holding us inside those beautiful, healthy guardrails that gets us to the summit.
That's
the
right.
Summit, man. I love the summit, man. You gave the summit speech to the team the other day, and it freaking fires me up. It doesn't matter if you're in the DEKA arena or you're going to the top of Mount Hood, man. It's all the same mission, brother.
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to give a bonus step to celebrating fitness, okay? You conquered a mountain, okay? You made it to the summit. And so what do you do from there? And a lot of people what happens, like even when it's a weight loss goal, I achieved my goal, and then they go back to those bad behaviors that put them in a place they didn't want to be in the first place. But the way I look at it is, once you conquer that mountain, okay, now it's time to look at the next mountain. Something a little higher, something a little steeper, something a little scarier. But it's good. You need that. You've already shown to yourself, you proved to yourself that you could do it, that you could push through being uncomfortable. Okay? And it's the next level. So that mountain you just climbed, that's not so scary anymore. Now we got to go on and get a little bit more uncomfortable. So I always say this, don't quit climbing after one big mountain. Keep climbing. I know. And no whining, but you got to keep climbing no matter what. That's in life, that's in fitness, that's in professionally, but you got to keep climbing no matter what. Just go pick out your Everest.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Eurofins Scientific, the official testing partner of Spartan. Eurofins Empower DX at-home COVID testing collection kit is the fastest, cheapest, and most sensitive test on the market today. Go to empowerdxlab.com/Spartan and use the code Spartan for 15% savings or free with most insurance. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Orgain, clean nutrition to help you stay healthy, active, and feeling your best. New subscribers save 30% at Orgain.com/pages/Spartan. Thanks for listening to this episode of the DEKA Series on Spartan Up Podcast. Spartan Up is your partner in resilience for mind, body, and spirit. We're here 3 days every week. Tuesdays, you can find Joe DeSena, founder and CEO of Spartan, interviewing biohackers, business leaders, authors, and athletes. Thursdays and Saturdays, catch episodes from our DEKA, Endurance, Trail, Combat, and LaRuta series. Do you know someone who needs a little nudge? Maybe they could use some motivation, tactics to be stronger, healthier, happier, more successful. Tell them about our show. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. We want to know who's watching and who's listening. Thanks. See you next time.